and welcome to the Break Bulk One show. I'm Leslie Meredith, your host today, and we are going to be talking about crisis leadership. We were all thrown into this crisis and suddenly found ourselves working from home. Some of us were able to fairly easily transition our responsibilities to the new environment. Others had to find new ways to get their work done. But all of us faced a tremendous amount of uncertainty with ourselves, our family, our friends, our colleagues, and uncertainty up and down the supply chain with facilities, cargoes, transportation. So it has been, I'm sure, a difficult time for everyone. Leaders had to find new ways to lead, and today we're going to talk to 4 female executives who are going to share their experiences with us and talk to us about what they found to be effective in leading their teams. Now, this is part of our Women in Break Bulk initiative. We launched this in Houston at Break Bulk Americas last fall. And of course, today was the day that we were going to do it in Bremen at Break Bulk Europe. And while we can't be together in Bremen now, we'll have to wait till the end of September. I'm so happy that we have this opportunity to bring these women together, to bring you all together, both men and women. Men are welcome, of course, in this discussion as well. So I just wanted to remind you or let you know that we'd love to hear your questions. So type those in the questions or chat box on the right side of your screen, and we'll answer as many of those as we can as we head towards the end of the session. But now let's meet our first woman in Break Bulk. I'd like to introduce Nicola Heigleitner from DHL Global Forwarding. I had the pleasure of talking to her last year at Break Bulk Europe, and she's been a great contributor to our events, to sharing knowledge with the industry. So let's get her up here now. Or soon. I see her coming.
I'm here. You see me?
Yes,
thank you, Leslie.
Welcome
everybody. Great. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. It's a great opportunity. Of course, you cannot replace the great events we normally have, the great get-togethers, but I think it's a good substitute for us to still get together. So as Leslie said, I'm currently in charge of marketing and sales for DHL Global Forwarding. And I'm also the executive sponsor for Industrial Project. So I did this full time until a few months ago, but I've now handed that responsibility over to one of my team members. So now I'm more focused on the marketing and sales side in DGF. So I wanted to share with you just a few highlights. So I want to focus around empathy and motivation, communication, and then also collaboration and agility. And while we have done great things, you know, from an operations standpoint, that's not what I want to focus on today. I really want to focus on what was the leadership required during the last few very interesting months. And I myself, I'm based in London. I've been home officing now for 2.5 months. So yes, I know every corner of the flat now. And let's jump into it. Empathy and motivation. So I wanted to share with you that I personally traveled for 15 years every single week. So I'm a hardcore traveler, and it was really a very strange experience for me personally to suddenly be on a standstill. I mean, obviously you're in shock, then you panic a little bit, and then you're in a standstill. You find yourself stuck at home. So I'm at home with my husband and my 3 cats. And slowly I started taking over the flat because my office is actually in the living room. And the first lesson I wanted to really share with you, we started off working from home. Then I started living at work, and now I'm back to working from home. Because I realized you have to have clear boundaries, and we will discuss this also a little bit later. In terms of motivation and empathy, I have 2,500 salespeople that I'm looking after who are also used to be constantly on the roads. So we had to very quickly, from one day to the other, get them all into a home office and keep them motivated. And salespeople or business development people, they're used to be on the roads. So it was very important for us to really motivate them, keep them engaged. And the way how we did that was to really be very personal and very empathetic. So in every call, I start off with, how are you doing? And my personal mantra always was, you will not remember what somebody said to you, but you will remember how they made you feel. And if you saw my quote at the beginning, that is also the leadership takeaway that I want to share with everybody. I shared a lot of personal things. Everybody knows I'm currently working from a construction site because this is what's going on in my flat right now. I shared that I'm worried about my family in Austria and Ghana because I know that everybody else is also struggling with the personal and professional leadership. Our mission in DHL is improving lives, connecting people, improving lives, and then we added also saving lives. Every time I talked about that, I was choking up because I'm very much into this, and I just want to share that sentiment with people. And that, even though we are all doing social distancing right now, that brought us closer than ever. So empathy, and I do apologize to the men on the call. I think this is really a very strong female attribute that helped a lot during this crisis. So motivation, empathy, these are the key takeaways from the first point. The second point is communication. And we really moved very fast. So we realized, okay, we have a crisis at hand. We were not clear yet how big the crisis is. But immediately we decided we have to communicate a lot and over-communicate. And I mean this internally and externally. So some of the topics that we did is, from day one on, we said we want to be very transparent and very honest to our customers. And that's really what was the red thread throughout the communication. So every Monday, we send a customer advisory to all our customers where we clearly say, look, these are the hotspots, these are the issues, these are our mitigation actions, and this is what we would advise you to do. So that was very well received. And also internally, we really over-communicate. We have internal briefings. I have Zoom coffee hours every Friday with my direct reports. So on content as well as on the more personal side, we do a lot of communications. And the last topic I want to share is collaboration. And collaboration is a great buzzword that we all talk about, but collaboration really matters when you hit a crisis. So I'm a very collaborative person to begin with. And I have established a great network in the company, but I realized that as soon as we hit panic mode and crisis mode, a lot of the people who have been, let's say, who are the more traditional forwarders, they kind of shut up and they focused on their own area, and suddenly we were dealing with silos again. So I realized then that this is not the way how we can be successful. So with my team, we very quickly established, okay, marketing and sales takes the lead here. We take all the products, air freight, ocean freight projects, we take them all on twice a week a call and create a platform that will be the single source of truth. And that has proven to be so successful that we now have people coming and say, please, can I be part of this call to listen? So I hear once all the information from all the different areas. I know then on which topics I need to collaborate, where I can get all the information. And that call really helped us navigate the last 17 weeks or 16 weeks or whatever it was now. And yeah, this has proven to be a super successful tool. because when we are all together, we are also agile in making decisions. We're a large company. We're not known to make fast decisions. But if you have everybody together, everybody knows we have 1 hour to iron everything out for the next week to come and to plan everything. That was really fantastic. So for me, it was really a good learning. Uncertainty has developed into, yes, we are all in this together. We are one team. We only have the only objective to keep our people safe, to bring the cargo of our customers to where it's supposed to go. So it was fantastic in that way.
Okay, great.
So thank you, Ashley. Back to you.
All right. Okay. Now we're going to talk to Katerina Andreeva, the commercial director for Volga Dnepr. And she is normally in the UK, but will be joining us from Russia. So I'd like to welcome Ekaterina.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, it's so great to see you. How is everything?
Hi, Leslie. All good, thanks.
Okay, good. Now, how long do you think you're going to be in Russia? Any idea?
I guess we never know. It does not depend on us, but probably 1 or 2 months. Don't know really.
Okay, all right. Well, tell us about your experiences over the last couple months and some of the things that you've learned about leadership that you can share with our group.
Okay, so first of all, hi everyone, and I think it's really great that we are all here today and that we speak openly about the challenges and that we exchange the ideas and how to overcome them. So thank you very much, Breakbulk, for providing this platform for us all. Emergency response, it has always been a vital area where Volga Dnepr provides support, and health is actually one of our core values in Volga Dnepr Airlines. In the past few months, we have flown thousands of tons of protective personal equipment and humanitarian cargo in our aircraft, as well as project goods for the health industry, for example, mobile hospitals and sanitization trucks. The biggest priority for us and the biggest challenge right now for us as a company is, of course, the safety of our crews. They're flying all over the world, and for obvious reasons, there have been a lot of challenges recently. We assess every region we are flying to. We provide protective equipment for all of the crew members, and we hold regular medical checks and testings for all of our staff. And another important procedure, a new procedure that we had to implement since the beginning of the year, is the disinfection of all our aircraft before and after every single commercial flight, the full disinfection. While physical health is, of course, a very important subject, I think it's easy to forget and somehow even neglect mental health. And I think we can all agree that COVID-19, it is scary. And many people are scared and are struggling with anxiety and fear. And after we have started working remotely, it has not been easy for everyone at the beginning. We have not been used to working from home, and it was very unusual that we suddenly stopped traveling and seeing our colleagues. This is what Nicola mentioned in her speech as well. I'm in sales as well, so I know how it is, how tough it is, and how tough it is for all us who works on the roads. And in my opinion, the role of every employer now is to create a certain stability and confidence for their employees. And this is what we are trying to do in Volga Dnepr, and this is what I personally do for my team. I have a brilliant colleagues there who are based worldwide in Japan, Hong Kong, China, Russia, Germany, UAE, Europe, UK, and US, of course. And we did not stop the regular meetings and procedures that we used to have before this COVID-19 situation. And the meetings that we have, they are always with the cameras on, so that we see each other's faces, and because it's important to make a personal connection with the people in these difficult times. And just sometimes it's more important to have a laugh and share a funny story than just talk about KPIs, because we're all just humans after all. And another interesting thing that we started to have in the company is all company-wide seminars for all employees with our top management involved on different important topics. For example, we had a dedicated seminar on personal health and a seminar on company strategy. And sometimes we invite external professionals as speakers. For example, once we had a doctor and he explained COVID-19 from the medical perspectives and gave some tips and answered the questions of the staff. So, of course, there is a lot that could be said, but I think I'll wrap it up here. And just to sum it up, I think this pandemic is a marathon that we are all sort of running together. And if we are there for each other and we support each other, then I'm sure we will overcome all the challenges and we will become even stronger than we used to be together.
That's great. Thank you so much. Okay, next up, we have Sylvia Boer. She's the director for an association. She's coming to us from Amsterdam. This is AYOP. Amsterdam, I'm going to mess up the pronunciation here, Sylvia, so I apologize in advance, but IJ Muden Offshore Ports. She is also the president of WISTA, the Netherlands, which is an organization for women in the maritime industry. So I'd like now to welcome Sylvia.
Thank you very much, Leslie. And the pronunciation was not so bad, actually. Well done, I would like to say. It's a difficult name. And thank you also for providing this opportunity. I'm excited and honored to speak to all of you. I can see it's a great international audience from all over the world, so that's really fantastic. Yeah, the challenges we were facing, were quite exciting because I had just started in my new role as director of Amsterdam IJmuiden Offshore Ports, and 6 weeks passed by, and then COVID-19 was a fact. We are a member organization of parties that are active in the offshore energy, so that's offshore wind at sea or oil and gas in the North Sea Canal region. And for a member organization, of course, it's crucial to add value to your members. And we normally do this by organizing participation exhibitions, company visits, lectures, network drinks. So basically all initiatives that are nowadays no longer possible. So we had to come up with a different approach. And what can you do in times of crisis or uncertainty? I thought it was crucial to stay in contact with your members. We wanted to know what was going on, how they were doing. And we also wanted to know if they might need some help. So we started very basic, but just giving them phone calls. We prepared a couple of questions that we would all ask them and just started calling. And we immediately noticed that this was really appreciated by our members. People really valued the personal attention that we were giving them. But it also gave us a lot of valuable information of what was going on. We noticed that they find it very important to remain in contact also with each other to know what's going on with the others. And we noticed that they had many questions. So I think this time also forces us to be creative and try new things. I mean, we have all new technologies available for a longer time, Zoom, Microsoft Teams. You should not be afraid of these new technologies. We should embrace and try them. So we decided to set up a weekly business call with our members because we thought together we know more. And since our members had many questions, we thought, well, maybe the other parties have solutions for their concerns already. And this initiative was received very well by the members. Of course, the first meetings were a bit, not as smooth as I hoped for because we run into some technicalities. But if you're honest and open about this and explain what's going on, I think it's not an issue. And what the second point I'm trying to make, it has to do with staying connected to each other. During these business calls, we noticed that cooperation between people is also very important, in our case, between our members. In the business calls, we're discussing challenges, ideas, opportunities, and of course, new ideas come out of this. To give you an example, I think that makes it more clear. We were discussing on what to do. Could we exchange personnel between companies? Because some of our members suddenly all of a sudden lost 80% of their turnover, of their order intake. And others are quite busy because they're in another field of business. So would it be possible to, for example, exchange personnel? And in our case, in our industry, which is the offshore energy, it's quite often technical personnel that people need. So sometimes you cannot just exchange them because they miss certain skill sets. So two of our members came up with a solution, and by joining these two companies together, they could offer the market a much more interesting package. And this came out to a deal. This one company is producing this very innovative smart glasses that you put on with a camera into it, so that you can actually be supported by someone on the shore side. For example, you're a technician working in a windmill at sea, so you're up really high, and then you run into a problem. Then it's convenient if you could have help from somebody at shore just by using your camera or your smart glasses, so to say. And this other company, they're developing these online trainings for technical people. So if you would combine these two, you could quickly retrain your technicians and let them work for other companies. And I'm really proud that this great synergy came from a business school, and they can actually bring this product to market. And the last point I would like to stress, I think is very, very important, is that you also need to stay physically healthy. So it's important that you exercise. There are enough. I do it myself. There are plenty of online videos. You can easily follow them, and I believe that if your body is fit, you're much stronger in dealing with challenging times. We also send small exercise packages with a jumping rope and a fitness band to our members, and encourage them to use it and to make sure they also stay fit and energized. And energy is our line of work, so that was also a bit of a joke. But these were, for me, these three points are crucial in times of crisis to do. So stay in contact with each other, cooperate, because together you do know more, and make sure you stay physically healthy. These were my 3 points I wanted to mention.
Okay, that is great, Sylvia, and it's really encouraging to hear some innovation and new ideas coming out of what certainly has been a difficult situation.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
I guess we could say there sometimes is a silver lining. So that's good, and I'm happy that you shared that with us. Okay, next up we have actually a colleague of Sylvia's, Claudia Ohlheimer. She is coming to us from Germany. She's with DNVGL and is the president of WISTA Germany. So I'd like to welcome Claudia.
From Hamburg, Germany.
She's coming. There she is. Okay.
Hello, everyone from Hamburg. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, Leslie, for the great opportunity to speak here in the webinar. And I think this is a great sign again, or a great sign what we can do in terms of pandemics. There are other ways, and we just have to quick your mind a little bit around, and then you always find ways to stay in contact. For those of you who don't know DNVGL is a class society. So what we are doing is, like, my colleagues go on board worldwide on ships, and they verify that the ships are in compliance with our own rules and international rules and regulations. So in order to show this, they get certificates, and these certificates have time windows that are expiring on an annual time window scheme. So safety and security of ships that are operated worldwide is, of course, a 24/7 business. So we were lucky. lucky to implement a couple of years ago already a direct access system to experts that allowed our customers to put their requests, log them online, and get 24/7 response to these. And also, this allowed us, of course, in these times of the COVID-19 situation, changed our business so much that we could rely on this remote expertise worldwide. So that helped us to focus, instead of focusing on setting up IT systems and everything, to focus on the bigger point the pandemic had on our industry, and that was that actually our colleagues could not go on board anymore to visit the ships. This had a huge impact on the regulatory setup of the maritime industry, because all the governments who are involved in these regulations had to adapt to the situation. And of course, there was a need to dare and see how do we make sure that the supply chains are kept on running. And as you know from governments, it's not so easy to change items because there is a lot of risk and liability involved. So for us, it really paid off that we had already in our team a trustful leadership style, and that the colleagues are aware well about their decision framing. When do they need to involve like colleagues or also group leaders or head of sections to make sure that if we had to adjust to the current legislation, that we make sure this is still in line and appreciated and accepted by all the involved shareholders. So maybe to sum it up with the quote I put in the beginning, this preparation or this strategy that we had before the crisis really paid off in terms of being prepared and getting into digitalization, having the IT system set up, but also having a good leadership. And of course, how do you continue this leadership during the home office situation? And as already mentioned by the other speakers, we of course continued with the communication. And as I said, due to the team spirit that was built up before, nobody was afraid to contact another colleague or us as a team leaders and the head of sections in times of questions. Although, of course, we were quite a lot involved in crisis meetings and other meetings to see how we move on. And then the third one, which I found also very important in these times, is how do you balance being in meetings and being available for the colleagues and the questions? Because obviously, like most of my speakers, other fellow speakers will share, there were a lot of crisis meetings that we had to attend. And the good thing in our team was that our head of section was then mainly involved in the crisis meetings, and I was more involved in being accessible for the team members, so that we made sure the operations are up and running. And that allowed all of us to deal with the situation, have the needed access points to discuss items, and also, again, as mentioned before, also to care about the personal items. So not only focus on the technical issues as we do as a technical society, but also to care about the well-being, make sure people are okay, talk about whatever is coming up. Like in Germany, it's called Kurzarbeit. So we have people who going on shorter hours. This is a systematic that is supported by the government. So there are restrictions behind it. And it was also important not only to share these items during team meetings, but also speak to the individual members and ask their questions and find out what the employees really need. So all of it together, the preparation, thankfully beforehand, but also the communication and the caring, as well as the accessibility, allowed us to to go through these changes okay-ish. And also we were in the situation that we were able to work through almost the double amount of requests that we got for COVID-19. Thank you very much.
Okay, great, Claudia, thank you. Now I'm going to have all 4 women come up on the stage, and we'll have just a few minutes of questions. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask one or more of our leaders today, please put it in the chat. I see a lot of question and answers are going on already over there, so that's fantastic. Let's start off with Nicola. Maybe has a question. We're going to start by asking each other questions.
Yeah, something that's a lot on my mind, and I've mentioned that, you know, we first worked from home, then we lived at work. And I heard you, Sylvia, talking a lot about how you do exercise from home and so on. How do you actually get yourself to do it? And how do you set boundaries and say, now the workday is over, now I do something different? Because that's something I continue to struggle with.
Yeah, I think it's a very valid point and a very good question. I actually, in the beginning, I was struggling with it, and I was just sitting behind my laptop extreme hours because, I mean, yeah, work and home is all of a sudden in the same place, and it's very tempting to just open your laptop in the evening and think, oh, maybe I can quickly do this so it's off my to-do list. But I thought, no, this is not the right way. And of course, because you're sitting much more than I'm used to behind the computer, it's not good. I mean, you need to stay in shape also a bit. I think it's important. So I just started blocking my agenda. So during lunch break, I do 15 minutes just apps, or I try and go for long walks with a heavy backpack, extra weight in. No, and I try twice during the day or in the evenings during weekdays, and in the weekend I try to do at least 4 hours just hiking. And that really helps, but also it also helps to clear your mind, because otherwise you just continue in this workflow, and you also sleep less, I think. And if you exercise, you break the day, or you can close it off somehow. For me, that really helps. But I just block my calendar, and I don't make exceptions.
Okay, it's very strict. Ekaterina, do you have a question?
Yes, I actually have a question for Claudia. So, Claudia, what, in your opinion, was the biggest change for you or your team if you compare before and after this all happened?
I think we will have 2 changes. So the first change was from before COVID to now the COVID-19 situation, where, as I said before, we have we can do a lot of things that were not allowed before from a regulatory point of view. We had to postpone items to make and don't attend the ships. So it was possible for the ships to go further on in the supply chain. And that was, of course, a big change for us in the team here, because we are used to work according to rules that are, I wouldn't say 150 years old, but quite solid. Whereas now we had to be flexible. We had to dare ourselves to think around the box and find a way, together with the regulatory bodies, to accept items. And I think the next big change for us will be to going back, because everybody is talking about the new normal. For us, I wouldn't say we are in a new normal. We are in a parallel universe at the moment, and we will kind of shift back, not to the old standards of before, also to a new standard, but that will be more closely to what we had before than what we are having now. And I think that will be difficult, because customers will challenge us and say, well, it was possible before. Why is it not possible now?
Absolutely. Okay, Sylvia, question. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I actually, I do. I'm just wondering, what will you learn from this period? So there's, of course, there are a lot of downsides, but I think we can also pick up some positive things. And what will you continue doing in another manner that you learned due to the whole crisis situation?
Okay, that's a good one. Let's go quickly around. We just have a few minutes, but Katerina, what's your big takeaway? What are you going to move forward with?
In my opinion, well, there is a very nice saying, if life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So I think, yeah, I definitely agree that we need to take the best out of it. And I think that the best thing we can learn is that nothing stays the same. You don't know what tomorrow may bring to you, because as we can see, the life can be pretty unexpected. And I think it's just very important for us to be agile and to be able to adjust to a different environment, because it will make us stronger in the end. So I think the best outtake is to be agile and be ready for changes, be open for them.
Excellent. Claudia?
Yeah, I was wondering, Nicola, how is it for you when it comes to HSE for your employees? Were there big changes that you had to do, or how did that work? Because you have so many employees to take care of.
I mean, what we established at really at day one is that health and safety of our people and their families is paramount. So it overrules everything. So we made that very clear. So we put in very severe travel restrictions. Nobody really moves within the organization right now. And we allowed basically everybody who can work from home. Everybody has been sent home. And also now, we're not forcing anybody back, because we all learned it's working so well that we leave it up to people if they want to come back to the office or not. And I think that was also one of the questions here. So we completely leave it up to people. Of course, we have equipped them with all kinds of PPE, but also we have to think about the people who cannot work from home. And that was a key consideration for us. So we made sure there was enough space within our operational facilities. We created A and B teams so that we wouldn't have too many people interfere. Wherever we have more than 5 cases, for example, we do mass testings immediately to make sure that we protect everybody around them, because it's especially the cases that have no symptoms that you need to detect to reduce the further spread. We are providing masks, of course, to everybody. Yeah, I mean, we do look after our people, I would say, even more than anything else. So more than the cargo, more than anything else, we do look after our people. And we were very blessed with the cases we had, I have to say.
Okay, we're getting close to running out of time, but I just want to go once around the group and have each person, you can maybe have up to 3 words, but 1 word to sum up what is the most important thing for leaders, men and women, to take forward over, the next month or 2. Sylvia, just because you're at the top of my screen.
I think trust and rely on your people. Because in our business, it's quite often they say working from home is complicated and you don't know what people are doing, but I think that's bullshit. If you have good people and you trust them and you put faith in them, they get wings. So I think that's most important.
Great. Trust. Claudia.
Yeah, I think it goes in the same line, trusting also in the creativity of the people. Give them the space to find creative solutions.
Okay, great. Katerina?
Be kind. Be kind to your people and believe in them.
All right. And Nicola, let's wrap it up with you.
I have to go back to empathy. We are all human before anything else. So that's for me the most important takeaway.
Okay, good. Well, I hope that everyone here in this session has gotten some valuable information and advice. I'd like to thank our women for joining us today and sharing their stories and their thoughts about leadership in their respective businesses and just, as people in general. It's very important. I did want to tell you that we will be having a similar session for the Americas on June 23rd. So I hope that you will all come back and join us for that. Should be great. And meanwhile, stay safe and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Leslie. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.